All right, hello once again. Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College, and as part of my YouTube channel, JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming, which currently has in it a single playlist of Jeff Teaches Programming-Python. And if you were to go out to YouTube and check for that, and put in JPS here, hopefully you'll find it fairly quickly. JPS, Jeff Teaches Programming. There it is. All right, whopping 44 subscribers, but that's great. You know, 44 is better than 43, and it's not as good as 50. Let's see if we can keep that going up. There's 59 videos in here right now, and I've gone through everything from an introduction to the Python programming language to writing structured Python programs which are functionally based and use sequence selection and iteration, meaning looping. All right, we went in and we looked at the main data structures in Python, those being dictionaries and lists and tuples and sets. And we wrote some programs with those, both non-object oriented and then some object oriented ones. From there, we went on and did some file stuff, and now we're in database. And what I have done previously in my database lectures is I've gone through a few different examples, all right? I went through a single table example with an employees table and did a few lectures on that. Then I went in, and just to show you this, we're now working with this sales orders database. And if I show you this right now, in fact, let me bring it up. Open it with code, and we'll run the program right now. There it is. I'm going to run it. So let me clean this up. All right. And I'll show you what that looks like momentarily. But what we did in this first version in here, and yeah, I know it looks pretty ugly, but we basically built the tables and then filled the tables up with data. And then every time I did something, I ran it off so you could see what it looked like. All right. So what you'll see if you take a look in here, this is main. So what are we doing? Well, we're adding a bunch of other files, which is what we're doing here. Move that one over, I guess. And then we connect to the database. We create all 8 tables. The categories table, the customers table, I just did these in alphabetic order. The employees table, I guess I didn't. The vendors table, the products table, the product vendors table, the orders table, and the order details table. Then, as it says, we attempted to display all the tables that were in the database. So if I go back here and I comment all of this out, I know this is kind of silly to do it like this, but I'm going to do it anyway just so you see it. So let me take all of this here, comment it out. All right. So the only thing now that we have in here is we create the database, and this should show all the tables that are in the database. So we've got a database here. Let me get rid of it. All right. And let me run the program again. Let's save this first. So if I run this, you can see it tells me that I've established my database connection. I've created the categories table, the customers table, the employees table, the vendors table, the products table, the product vendors table, the order table, and the order details table. So we created all 8 of the tables. All right. And here, well, I did that query, but of course I commented this out. So let me do this. We'll put it right there. All right, so let me run it again. Now, normally I'd be recreating the database every time, but I'm not going to do that. So there they are. And now these were the tables that were created. So In other words, when we look and see what's in the sales orders database, there's categories, customers, employees, vendors, products, product vendors, orders, and order details. Good. Then, one at a time, I came in and I added records to here. All right. So with the first one, just so you can see it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the categories records. Okay. All right. So there, in fact, let's do categories, customers, and employees. All right. We'll have, that should give us plenty of room here. All right. So again, just to show you, I'm going to do a file save. Well, I will remove the database, so you don't think there's any sleight of hand or anything going on here. All right. So my database is gone. And if we run the program again, this is what we get. Let's take a quick look. All right. So categories were inserted. There they are with a fetch all. There they are running them in a for loop. Then we've got the customers. There they are with a fetch all. There they are with a for loop. Then we've got the employees. There they are with a fetch all. There they are with a for loop. So that's my first three. All right. So let's clean this up. All right. Like I said, I just want you to see every time what's going on in here. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the calls to printing. All right, I've inserted the records. Yeah. Well, let's see if we can keep going here. We'll see. So I want to do the vendors and the products and the product vendors. All right. All right. Again, you can see there's no data. Oh, there was a database in there. There's no database in here anymore. And let's run this. Get rid of that. So you've already seen on here, you've already seen but I'm going to show you it again anyway. So again, come on. There's categories, fetch all, and categories for loop. Customers, fetch all, customers for loop. Employees, fetch all, employees with a for loop. Vendors with a fetch all, vendors with a for loop. And it looks ugly because it's longer than the width of the line here. All right. Let's see, what else do we have? Products, fetch all, products with a for loop. Product vendors with a fetch all, product vendors with a for loop. All right, so the only two I have not shown you have been the orders and the order details. And I'm not going to run those again just because of the fact that orders has like 944 records or something like that in it. And order details has like 3,900 some records in it. So I am going to go back up to here. I'm going to clear this. And I'm going to go back to my program just because I want to undo that. Okay, so that's the first one. Now I'm going into the second one right now. Okay, so let's do this. Again, I'm going to do a file, save, and I'm going to close this. All right, now I'm going to go into my second one. Is it still open here? Let's see, sales orders. So now I'm going to go into version 2. All right, and when I look at this, I started on it and I did a whole bunch of stuff with counts and whatever, but I'm going to grab all that and I'm going to put it into a brand new folder. Oops. And I'm just going to call it old for right now. Okay. and I pasted everything in there. So I don't have anything anymore. I'm going to start this from scratch. All right. And I want to show you quickly why I'm starting this from scratch. Probably like you, I get onto YouTube enough that when I get videos, or that if somebody determines, or YouTube itself determines that I should look at this, it shows me some videos. And sometimes I watch them, of course, sometimes I don't. Well, the other day, one came up, and it was this one right here with this gentleman. And I don't know if it's Teclado or Teclado. All right. He's got 30.4K subscribers, so he's doing something right? And it was 36 minutes long, and it was building a Python project with an SQLite database. It's very simplistic. All right. He works with, I think, with a single table in there. All right. It's a coffee bean example. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to go through it, but there's nothing wrong with it. But one of the things that he did that I liked, all right, was he wrote all the queries first, and then he went back and he ran the queries. All right. Now you might think, well, big deal. It kind of is, because what I want to do here, I want to show you this. What I did was when I was teaching this in the classroom, and when I was teaching this, in this case, I believe it was either SQL Server or MySQL. It really doesn't matter. But I gave 3 worksheets for students to work on, and they were right here. All right, and these are the answer keys. All right. Now I have the answer keys for the ones that we're going to do right now in SQLite. Yes, but you'll have all that stuff, and I'll try to remember to save these out there as well. Okay, but I'm going to do these 3 times. In other words, part 1 in here that we're working on now is going to have the first set of these queries, and then part 2, the second set, part 3, the third set. Now I'm already at 12 minutes, so I want to get into this. So for example, the first one says, show the queries to show the number of records in each table. So let's go in and start to write this. All right. Now what I'm going to do is one last thing, and that is I am going to grab this. Where was it? I wanted to grab the thing that had main in it. That's it. All righty. Let me close that. And I'm going to bring it. I'm going to copy it. And that'll be my starting point right here. Okay. So let's open version 2. And we will open that inside of code. And what it will have in it says the editor could not be opened because the file was not found. Well, the file is right there. All right. All right. So let's close this. And I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. Just so you know, this is stuff I wrote before, but I'm getting rid of every bit of it. I'm going to keep my import SQLite, and I'll keep in here def main. All right. So let's see. So I'm going to import SQLite. All right. There's my def main. I'm going to get rid of everything I put into main. And I mean everything. And I did a bunch of this stuff before, but I think that doing it this way is going to make it a little easier for people to understand. So right now I'll put a pass in there so we don't get an error. So this is all we have. This is it. All right. Now, hopefully you remember from earlier, go back to this. These are the tables. So we had a categories table, a customers table. All right. They don't look exactly like this. These varchars all became text, etc. But it's okay. An employees table, a vendors table, a products table, a product vendors table, an orders table, and an order details table. All right, so that's what I'm working with. Now I've got these 2 things listed here. All right, this SQLIZ, etc. So if you want more than what you're getting from me now, you can go out to here. There's an SQL. This is that SQLIZ.com one, and it's a function reference. And this is an SQLite tutorial. Of course, you're going to get more than what I'm giving you, and that's fine. All right. But I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to start this. So again, the first thing that we want to do in here, is to show queries to show the number of records in each table. All right. So I'm gonna actually put the queries right here. All right. So these will be the queries. I'll eventually move them. All right. So first we want to show the number of records in the categories table. All right, we want to do this 8 times. Now, of course, we don't want to show the number of the categories table every time. So second, we want to show the number of records in the customers table. Third, we will want to show the number of records that are in the employees table. All right. And I think I did put this one when I was doing them in alphabetical order. So next, we will show the number of records in the orders table, followed by the number of records in the order details table, followed by the number of records in the products table, followed by the number of records in the product vendors table. And I look here, I spelled records wrong, so let's fix that. Jeez Louise, Jeff. All right, there, those are fixed. All right, so this is what I'm going to do first. Okay, and it looks like I didn't renumber these, so that's 6. That is 7, and that will be 8. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to write these queries. Okay, so I'm going to put in here, we'll call this number categories records equal. All right, and let's put this in as we have been doing, at least on occasion, in here. All right, I'm going to put this in with a doc string. And it'll be select count star as, I'm going to move this over because otherwise it's going to scroll off the screen and I don't want that. We'll call this number category records. So I'm giving it an alias right there with the use of the word as. So I'm saying, give me a count and do that from categories. All right, hopefully that'll work. We'll find out momentarily. So there's our first one. Then next, this will be the number of customer records. Customers. Better change that name. All right. Then next, we'll want employee. All right. And then next, blank space in here a little bit too much. All right, then next will be orders. And after that, we will have, well, that shouldn't be categories. That should be, what did I do here? Categories, customers, employees, orders. This should be order details. Oh, products. I'm skipped vendors. This will be product vendors. And this will just be vendors. There we go. All right, that fixed that. So this will be order details. Yeah. And we've got products and product vendors to go. What did I do? Didn't copy over. There we go. If you've watched enough of my lectures, you'll know that I'm squirrely enough about trying to line things up. Okay. Okay, 5, 6. We got product vendors. That should be products here. All right, again, didn't copy that over. All right. So this will be product vendors. All right, and then finally we've got vendors. Okay. That looks pretty good. Oh, this is vendor. Yeah, number. Vendor records. Vendors. You should all be singular. Product, order detail, order, employee, customer, and category. All right. All right. Just about finished here. All right. Could I miss something? Of course. You know me well enough by now, hopefully, that you know whether or not I have. So, again, let's go back because I want to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. So let's go back. Do we still have that open here? No, I do not. Open this up. All right, in main, I'm going to create my connection. Okay. Don't worry about that. That's fine. We're going to get that in just a second. We have to bring that in. Create connection. That's DBC. All right. It'll be up here near the top under my import SQLite. Import create connection, which I haven't written yet. That's why it's giving me the error. That's fine. As DBC. But now that DBC here, my guess is it's not giving me an error anymore. Okay. So let's grab that database connection that I did before. Create connection. So I'm going to grab that. And that's what we're going to call it here as well. So let's come in here and let's create a new file. Create connection.py. Paste that in. And there it is. All right. Now I did copy the database last time in here. All right. But I should, that's fine. It should be still allow me to connect to it. All right. So let's see if that worked. All right. I'm going to get rid of all this stuff here that's open. There we go. I've got this open right now. All it's attempting to do is connect to the database. I'm not doing anything with any of these queries yet. All right. All right. And then we're going to call that to connect. So file, save all. Now I want to do one last thing first. This is all part of question 1. So there'll be one. Oh, geez. This will be, come on, 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, 1G, and 1H. All right, so there's the first one. Now let's see if I can connect to the database. So let's do a save all. Let's bring this up here. There's nothing here. All right, let's run and see if we connect. Database connection established. Well, that's a good start. All right. Now I was just thinking, that's fine that we did that, but I'm going to grab that database that we had before because I don't know if it removed what was in here or not. We need that full, so to speak, database. So if we look in here, let's see. If we go to source files and we go to Python DB and sales orders. So here was the sales orders database. It says that it's 44K. All right. Now if we go down here, says it's 0K. All right. So what I want to do is I want to go back again to the original one that I had in here. Version 1. Let's open that with code and let's run this file again. I'm going to remove any database that might be in there. All right, and I'm going to run this. All right, that created the entire database for me. That's good. Why is that good? Because now what you'll notice is that database is 200K. So let's copy that. And let's make that the one that's in here, not one that's 0K. Delete. Paste. And I'm going to put it in here as well. I guess it is in here, but I'm going to make sure that it's the right one. So if I have to go back, I've got the one that's 200K. All right. So what I'm going to do next then is I'm going to run each one of these queries, these 8 queries that you just saw. All right. So we created our connection. Now, what I want to do eventually is I want to break these up and put these into 8 different files. And we can start doing that right now. All right. So this first one is number category records. So I'm going to import we'll call it category records. How about category record count as CRC, category record count. All right, and I'm just going to copy this. All right, so we've got category record count, we'll have customer record count, and let's call this cat RC, and we'll call this cuss RC. And we'll have employee record count, and that'll be emp RC. All right, and then we will have order record count, and that'll be ord RC. Then we'll have order detail record count, and that'll be ordet RC. RC is just for record count. Let's finish this up. Then we'll have product record count. And that'll be Pro RC. We'll have product vendor record count. And that'll be Pro VEN RC. And finally, we'll have vendor record count, and that'll be VEN RC. Again, the RC just stands for record count. So these are going to be files that I'm going to bring in just a minute. I've already brought in the database connection. Now I'm going to keep getting errors on here because I haven't created these files yet. So let's take all of the ones except the first one, the category record count. Let's take all of the rest and comment them out. Okay. All right. And what I'm going to do now is I've already written all of the queries. Okay. Now, when I print out this information, you can print it out pretty, you can print it out ugly. What I mean by that is if I print it out pretty, I'm going to use a for loop and print out each row one at a time. If I print it ugly, I'm going to use a fetch all, which will work faster. So that's the one I'm going to use. So we want this category record count. So let's create a new file. Category record count.py. So there it is. All right. And again, what I'm going to do is cheat a little bit and go back to, when I say cheat, I'm going to go back to one of my own older programs. Let's just grab one of these where we've got, I don't know, it won't be exactly the same, but we'll grab this one. All right. Again, I'm going to make some changes to this, but it's fine. All right. Now, don't worry if there's errors or anything else. They're all going to be fixed in a matter of moments. Now, we want to change this to category record count. And we'll need the connection. All right. Now, we're not inserting any data here. So all we're going to want to do We don't want any of this stuff that's in here. Okay. All right. I'm going to come all the way to here and say get a count of the number of records in the categories table. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to put it in here. Okay, now it looks a little funky. It's not lined up very well, and we'll fix that right now. So this is going to be number of category records equal, and that's the query I want to run. Okay. And don't have to do this. Now I didn't import SQLite 3 in here, which I must do. All right, I should have no errors in here now, and it looks like I don't. Now, if this works, we're going to select a count. We're going to call it number category. We'll make it number of category records. All right, we'll execute the query, and then we'll say the number of records in the categories table via fetch all. In fact, we don't even need this. We can just do select count star from categories. All right, we can move these over just so it lines up a little nicer, look a little nicer here and there. So if this works, I think we had 6 categories. It should say the number of records in the categories table, print c.fetchAll. All right, now I believe that when we do this, the fetch all, we don't want that. I think we want to fetch 1 because we're only getting one thing back. Now, there could be a problem. I maybe wrote it wrong. I don't know. But let's go back and look. All right, so File, Save All. Now I've got to go back to here, and in main, I have to run this. All right, so what did we call this? We call this cat RC. All right, so I'm going to say cat RC dot. Notice it finds the category record count and it needs the connection. So if I did that right, it's going to show the number of records that were in there. If I did it wrong, it'll show me some kind of an error. All right, so let's go back. Let's do a file. We'll do a save all on here. We'll run. The number of records via fetch all, 6. All right, okay. It's got the comma. I don't really care, but it worked, and it showed me those. All right, so now I'm going to do them one at a time. So let's take the next one here, which is customer record count. Do that here. So we have to write this, right? So we've got a category record count, and now we'll make a customer record count. And the easiest way to do that is to grab everything that's in here and copy it. So let's take category record count, And let's copy it, paste, and then let's put in here customer record count. All right, which is the name, which means that's what I've got to put in here. Okay. And now I can change this to number customer records. Do that from customers. And that's what we have to execute. And the number of records in the customers table. All right. So that's file save all. That's all good. Got to go back to here. We got to call that now. So now I can say cus rc c dot customer record count con, and it should show me there's 27, 28, 29 customers, something like that. I don't know how many there are, but let's run it. We have to run the right file. Someday I'll remember to do that. So file, save, let's run this. All right, so it says that there's 6 records and categories and 27 customers. All right, and I'm just going to continue on in here and do all of these. All right, the next one was employees. So let's uncomment that one. So we will want an employee record count. Again, we'll come over to our customer record count that we just made here. Try to. And copy it. Paste it. Change the name to employee. Oops. Thought I put it in there, but I guess I didn't. Employee record count. Okay. All right. So that's what this one is now. Let's close customer record count and close category record count and close our create connection. And we can close our database. Here. So we're up to employee record count. In fact, I probably can come in here now and do a replace and replace any instance of customer with employee. All right, so number employee records. Employees. Good, looks good. And again, I have to call that. So file, save all. So now I can come in here and do my emp rc dot employee record count, pass in the connection. All right, file, save all. Run that one. 6, 27, and there's 8 employees. Again, I could pretty this up. I'm just not doing it. All right, I'm doing it. I'm trying to get these done where you can understand what I'm doing to the queries. I'm not really worried here about aesthetics, about how pretty my output looks. All right, now I'm going to go and kind of do these next ones quickly. So I'm going to uncomment all this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. So I'm going to copy the employee one that we have here, employee record count. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So the next one was order record count. So let's rename this. So it's order record count.py. All right. Again, I should be able to come in and edit, replace employee. Now I want to replace that with order. So that, well, I screwed it up, but order record count. That should say employees. Let's make sure there's no category in here. Nope. All right, so that one's done. So we can close the employee. Whoops, I did the wrong one. We'll do it right now. Employee record count, that one. This has got to say the number of records in the employees table. All right, file, save all, and I'm going to, any copies that I have open, I'm going to get rid of. Just close them right now. All right, so this is order record count. So that'll be in the orders table, which I spelled wrong. All right, so that'll do the number that are in the orders table. All right, so that one's done. So that's save all. Let's just grab all of this. All right, and I'm going to open up the next one that's here. Let's rename this. And this will be order details record count. All right. So our order detail record count have to replace all employees with order details. All right, order details, number of records in the order details table, count from order details, screwed that up a little bit, but that's okay. File, save all. Let's close this and make sure we've got it all done. So order details, that looks good. So that one's done. So file, save. So we've done now orders and order details. Got 5 of the 8 done. Let's do product next. So we'll come up to this copy and we will rename this product record count. Okay. And let's close this order record count and the order record details count. And this again will become product record count. So we will replace all employee with product. So product record count here. That should say products table here. Products, and again, I spelled it wrong. I don't know how I did that, but I did. Products, okay. So that one's done. All right. So we will make product vendors record count next. All right. Let's get that one up here. think that's right. Let's double check. Product vendors. Close. Product vendors. This has to be product vendors. Product vendors. Okay, that looks good. And we've got vendors left. Again, I could have made mistakes anywhere along the line here. You know that. So let's rename this to vendors record count.py. I don't know what's faster, which way is faster of doing this, so. I guess that's the vendors table, so file, save all. Now we have to call these back in here. And let's it is customers, it is employees, it is orders, it is products, which means we have to change the name of all those. I should really change this one too, I guess. Yeah. It's okay. Okay, those are all changed. And back here, categories. Let's line these up. Okay, screwed up again. All right, it's getting there. Now let's fix all these first. All right, so this is categories. This is customers. This is employees. Let's just copy this. All right, now after our employees, we had our orders. And that's order, should be orders record count. Well, order record count, that's fine. Then we had ordet, RC, dot, that's order details record count. And then we had PRO dot that was not PRO, it's PRO RC dot product record count. And that's screwed up, so I have to fix that. And then we've got PROVEN RC dot. Finally, we've got vendors. Okay, those are all fixed. Now, some of them, my names are probably wrong in the actual thing itself. So let's go back, File, Save All. I want to have all this up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Categories, customers, employees. This should be orders, order details, product records, product vendors, and vendors. Okay, so these are all good now. But what I'm going to do is make sure that the names in here are correct. All right. So this is has to be categories, record count. All right. This is customers record count. That's good. Employees record count. That's good. Orders record count. Order details record count. Products record count. Product vendors record count. Vendors record count. Those all look good. It's giving me one error here, so it's probably not sure where that error is coming from. But let's go back to here. Let's do a file, save all. All right. All right. Now all these select counts that I've got in here, I don't need any of these as anymore. I don't need any of those. So let's do those from the top. Remember, we've changed this one. So this is category record count. This has to be categories. Record count. Okay. Fix that. And then we had customers record count. Okay, that one looks okay. So that's categories and customers. And next we have employees. Okay, that looks okay as far as I can tell. All right, so next we have order details. And that looks okay. Okay. Next we have orders. Select count from orders. All right, then we've got products. E in there. And finally, we've got vendors. I think everything looks okay. Let's go back to our query set here, which is what our main is in. So we're now coming in here and doing this and running all these. So technically, I no longer need any of these that I did to begin with to show you. So all the number ones here, these 8 queries, can now be removed. All right, and let's see if I made any mistakes or if it works. All right, so we've got 8 tables. We have 6 categories, 27 customers, 8 employees, 944 orders, 3,975 order details, 40 products, 90 product vendors, and 10 vendors. So those are all done. All right. So, like I said, that's a start. All right, this is already taking longer than I thought it would because we're an hour already. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to speed it up quite a bit. And I'm going to write the other 10 or 15 queries in the next lecture, as many of them as I can. Okay, thanks.